was gay, and it was exciting.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. I am Atlas Caldwell-Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hey.
How you doing?
And we watched The Spy with My
Joined
Face.
by Abigail Thorne and Devon. We both look exactly like Alice now.
That's right.
We had surgery to look like Alice. We had that facial lavisandification surgery.
I'm Napoleon Solo, and joining me today are Napoleon's Solo.
Napoleon Solo, yeah, all played by Maciej Lubchansky. This is the funniest titled Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie. It's only the second one, and we've already had the funniest titled one so far, which is The Spy with My Face. And this is like assembled. This is the like last one that isn't just recut episodes. They shot this in color side by side with the episodes which they shot black and white. And it's great. I'm really looking forward to talking about it because per number of drops that I have, this has the funniest drops that we've done since at least the Connery years.
Also,
100%.
the gap in silliness between this one and the previous one is huge. This
It's a
one
step
is so fucking stupid.
They've given up completely already.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is comedy.
It's going to be disappointing when it like goes back to being slightly more serious in later ones because this one is genuinely like one of the most outre. It's so fun.
It's a high point. It's
like you put a single Roger Moore Bond in the middle of the Connerys. It's like, huh? Back to Connery.
But we begin as all things should in Australia.
Yeah. Opening title, Melbourne, Australia, and then like some weirdly racist music plays.
Yeah.
Just quite near the TF Live show.
Yeah, exactly. And we see the dangerously close to blackface commandos infiltrating a sort of like villa. And my favorite thing about this, well, there's two things going on in this scene. One is that bits of it are in like weird fast motion over the credits.
Yeah, same as last time,
which I thought was, because I have no memory for these things, I purge myself of the memory of a movie after I've seen it and done the episode about it. I thought was just a glitch instead of a stylistic choice because it makes no fucking sense.
They're trying to do the kind of Zack Snyder fast motion, slow motion thing, but they don't have the technology for it in 1965, so they just kind of fast forward bits. Like the awkward bits of dudes climbing over a wall is just like fast forwarded, so they just look fucking stupid.
The dudes climbing over a wall is something I want to highlight as well, because Uncle's deal is like having gadgets in part, and we see them deploy the ultimate gadget of Australian Uncle to get over a barbed wire fence. One of them just hands up half of a bike tire.
Yeah, it's
they
a
just
barbed
use to
wire
climb over.
Electrified fence, and they're just like, well, we can solve this easily with a big rubber tire, can't we, boys?
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. I envision a whole sort of like universe of like Uncle's Australian division where every gadget is along these lines. It's like your working resources are an old car and like a case of VB and some tape, some number 8 wire, and you just sort of knock stuff together.
Long neck.
VB long neck. Actually, before we get into Australian accents, I should point out, we see Napoleon Solo, we see Ilya Kuryakin, who we haven't really talked about because he didn't really have a role in the last movie, and we see a third man, an Australian UNCLE agent.
Yeah, an Australian uncle.
Yeah, who
Probably
in the
guy who
course
had
of
the bike tire.
Yeah, in the course of infiltrating this house, gets a knife thrown perfectly through his shoulder.
He walks it off.
He doesn't give a shit about this knife.
He says something. He says something which allows me to present my first drop to you. Accent.wav.
Makes it really hard to get my shirt on over it.
That's what an Australian sounds like,
Definitely.
I think. That guy's Canadian, by the way.
Also, we see in this that like Robert Vaughn is among them, and they're killing people, which Uncle aren't supposed to do.
Oh, yeah.
But they are like kicking ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like gets in the trunk of a car, lures a guy over, kills him by bundling him into the car like a sort of like car trunk
It's like
mimic.
a clown routine. It's so silly.
Like a car trunk mimic, for fuck's sake.
My favorite thing that he does is he Okay, so he walks past a door. The door is slightly ajar, and he sees a guy in there. But because they don't give a shit when they're making this movie, the extra who is like about to get blown up in this scene is just in the door, like on his hands and knees, like on all fours, like waiting for the next thing to happen. And it fully looks like Robert
his
Vaughn
AI, like,
sees a
didn't
guy
load.
bottoming and throws a grenade into the room.
He disrespects Bottom so much.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just so terrified of the fanboys, things of
Yeah.
his age.
Also, he shoots a
on
guard at the
sight.
top of a spiral staircase, and the guard's death reaction is so. It's hard to describe through an audio medium, listeners, but it's just so bad. It's like school play level of like, clutches
He
his
rolls
chest and like
all the way
slowly rolls
down
the
a
stairs.
spiral
It
staircase,
just falls like,
culminating with his braid falling off. It's perfect.
It's so
Some
fun.
perfect gunplay here.
I swear to God, like, there's a point where Solo hears a noise from another room and realizes that there are some guys in it, but I swear to God he heard like a twig snap or something. Like, I don't know what the noise was.
Yeah, that was the guy bottoming. Yeah.
Going from a mansion and hearing a twig snap. It's so good. Oh,
So the sole point of this scene is to give you some action up front, and so you know that Solo and the Australian guy have worked together before. That's it. Then we go straight back to New York. We go back to Uncle
Oh,
headquarters.
no, I'm sorry, no, we don't.
No.
First,
we don't?
First, we meet the villains of the film.
Oh God, we
because
do.
we see
You're
that
right.
they are watching the camera recording of this. One of them is a woman named Serena, and what's the other guy?
Yep.
What's the guy's name?
The other guy's
He's
name
also
is
there.
Darius too.
Okay.
And he sounds fully like the nah kind of like newsreel voice.
Mhm.
It's sort of an attempted mid-Atlantic accent.
Later on, he does
I
have the
only
best
one-
line in the whole film, but
Go about your duties, you miserable pervert.
Yeah, that one.
so good.
so fuck-
But these two, Serena and Darius, they are agents of Thrush, which is what Wasp is actually called from the last film, and we're allowed to call them Thrush now because the copyright has changed. But they're watching this back and they're like, Napoleon Solo, he's really good. Wish we had an agent who was just like him. Oh, what if we did though?
Yeah, and then we zoom out slightly and we see a guy in my favorite outfit on any guy in a movie, the full facial bandages covering everything apart from his eyes and his mouth. And at this point, I'm pointing at the screen going, that's the spy with my face
Yeah.
from the movie,
Yeah.
the spy with my
it's a
face.
It's
Just
a
had
perfect
FFS.
example.
She's still pretty swollen. She hasn't had it off yet.
Still wearing a full business suit though. Like, let's not overstep.
With tie.
This man is wearing a suit and tie and a full facial
Presumably,
bandage.
if he's on the full facial bandages, he must be on some like painkillers. This must be recent surgery. So I mean, like props to her for getting into full like full suit and tie.
Never miss a day of work. Looks a lot like Joshua Graham from
Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas.
Probably
Does
still
indeed.
really constipated from all the opioids that they gave you after FFS.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, it's time to begin phase 1 of the August affair. And this motherfucker says the phrase, the August affair, like he is getting paid to include it.
Yeah,
It's like
this
Squarespace
phrase is in
for
the
him.
film like so much, and we don't even find out what the fuck it is till halfway through.
What I love
Time to commence
about
the August
what I
affair.
love about these movies in general is that, like, ostensibly it's two like world striding organizations in constant combat, you know, Uncle and Thrush. However, all of them are played by like English guys. So
Yeah.
essentially you just swap from one agency to the other and they all sound fucking identical.
Yeah.
And it takes like 2 lines before you figure out if you're with Thrush or Uncle.
There doesn't seem to be much in the way of like different corporate cultures or practices or ideologies
No.
or like styles. It's just like smart people in suits be like quipping at each other, and it's like, which side are we on? Like,
Corporate culture
Yeah.
of Uncle is the security Dorito, and
yeah.
the style of
I
Thrush
love
is
the
if you
security
die
Dorito.
if you
Makes
fuck
a
up one
returning
time, you
appearance
die.
in this.
That's
and
right.
then we go to New York, and
We do.
we see that Thrush
Still
are
looks like shit.
are giving a briefing to themselves.
I love this. I love this bit so much because they're in an operating theater where the spy with my face is getting operated on, and Darius, Mr. Nya, walks over to a console and says something which I've bemoaned about myself many times.
Voice patterns not yet perfect.
Because they're
on.
they're giving him
Knew you were gonna mention it.
facial Robert Vaughnification surgery, and they have to change his voice too.
Oh yeah, FRVS.
And yeah. And they're like, okay, fine,
Getting
we'll just do the
penis-preserving
briefing.
facial Robert Vaughnification surgery.
Just putting penis preserving at the start of any medical procedure.
It's like, yeah, I fucking hope it does.
I'm getting a penile preserving appendectomy.
But so they wheel in the big projector, the loud projector from the previous movie, and they're like, okay, we'll do a briefing
This
about
is Thrush's
the
one
August affair.
technological advancement of UNCLE is they have quiet projectors.
They have a series of photos, but I have no fucking concept how you could have ever gotten.
Yeah, they have a series of production stills from episodes of The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
Of the secret entrance to U.N.C.L.E. in Del Floria's flower shop. At which point I wrote down, does every cunt know about the secret entrance?
Yeah, especially
At
considering
what
the
point?
base was breached in the last film. You'd think they'd fucking move.
Yeah, they did. They moved it to the flower shop instead of the dry cleaners.
But we see inside, it's the same.
They changed the name of the dry cleaners to the flower shop.
It's a full of...
And so the briefing is, you're going to impersonate Napoleon Solo, or as he says it,
That, my dear, was Napoleon Solo.
Napoleon Solo.
Yeah,
You're gonna imitate him, but in order to do that, we're gonna have to take care of Ilya Kuryakin because Ilya's his mate and he knows him better than anyone, and he's gonna recognize it because your voice is too fucking it isn't parsoid enough. So we're gonna have to kill him.
Having to kill a man because your voice doesn't pass. Very funny
Every
idea.
day of my fucking life.
when you're gonna go stealth, if anyone knows, they've got to go. That's it.
that's right.
I'm sorry.
So at this point, we cut to the real Solo coming to the office with Kuryakin.
And you could tell he's the real Solo because he gets given a stack of memos from the time he's been away, and it's just like Sandy, Charlotte, Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah,
Charlotte,
he gets
Sandy.
fan mail from all the girls he's been shagging, and my question is, why does he have this sent to his work address, his secret spy headquarters?
His secretary is really procuring for him. She even sort of lampshades how many times Sandy has called him by being like, an active little thing, isn't she?
Is that his secretary, or is that like the front desk clerk of the fucking
Yeah, that's the
office?
front desk clerk, the one who we saw got gassed in the first
place
movie.
he works, that's not even his secretary.
His social secretary, I suppose.
All his pussy mail is coming to UNCLE headquarters, brackets, secret entrance under flower.
So he, having received notes about all of his sex appointments, he goes into the office. We get what would now be an embarrassingly long shot of him dialing a phone because rotary phones are hysterical.
Yeah, the first thing he does is use his work phone at the headquarters to call a woman.
Yeah, of course. It's
This man
Sandy.
has
She's
no
down bad.
idea how to behave in an office environment.
At this point, this is sort of like a what not to do office training seminar. At this point, I wrote down, girls love to sleep in entirely pink apartments in twin beds and be introduced with the sexy woman music.
Yeah, and also to be wearing full makeup in bed. I do this all the time. This is normal.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, this is femme shit. He calls this woman who we think is Sandy, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'd love to see you to have sex with you." And she goes, "Oh, well, okay, fine, but I'm not actually Sandy. Sandy's my roommate, platonically. We sleep in these twin beds in the same room. This is normal also."
Yeah, that's platonic.
I'll get her. Sandy gets up, gets on the phone, has a refreshing morning cigarette, and Sandy wants the Napoleon Solo dick more than anyone we've ever seen.
That's right.
So far.
This woman is down atrocious.
Atrocious.
Unbelievable.
She's like, whatever you've been doing, I hope it was penis preserving.
The phrase that this scene ends on and the music that comes after is so fucking good that I've got it, yeah. So they agree to go out on a date, and then Sandy laments to her roommate. She says,
I have a dinner date at 6 o'clock. And I don't have a thing to wear.
That'll never go out of style.
Yeah, just show up to your date, pussy out. That is the official recommendation of to spy with my face.
Yeah, do
and
it.
also kill James Bond.
Yeah.
So at this point, Solo goes in to see his boss, Mr. Waverly, having now decided to do some work.
Yeah, of course.
And because the point of this movie is like, oh, is he the real Solo? He pulls a gun in order to get the like. In a TV episode, there'll be a commercial break, right? He's just pulled a gun on his boss and he's creeping up behind him, and then we cut to the commercial and you try and explain this. But because there's no commercial, because it's a movie, he just creeps up on him and then he goes, oh, hey, this is my giving you a report gun that I keep.
Yeah, so he debombs the mag, and like the bottom round in the magazine has microfilm hidden in it, which is about his trip from Australia. And like,
why would you hide your microfilm in your gun, in your bullet?
Oh, I don't want us to be conspicuous. I'll put it in the fucking gun and go through airport security.
This is the thing about airport security.
Napoleon
If you try and carry a gun through airport security, they're not going to look that closely at anything you've got concealed within that gun on account of the gun thing kind of being a bit salient.
Napoleon Solo tips to business success. Okay, when you get into the office, job number 1, answer your own personal mail in the office. Job number 2, use the work phone from the secret headquarters to arrange a date. Job number 3, go and see your boss from behind and pull a gun on him.
And it's not even midday.
Yeah. Just got in. Like,
it's like 9:35 maximum.
You should do this at work, listeners. Point a gun at your boss. They'll love it.
Oh my god.
It's not 9:30 maximum. A man who does this did not arrive on time.
Apologies.
This is like 11:35.
He's had like 4 handles of vodka at this point, as any self-respecting red-blooded American man would at this point.
As is right. As is holy.
And Waverly's like, okay, decode this thing in the bullet you've just sent me. I'm going to need you to stay late at the spy factory to decode this. So he and Ilya go to the big room where all the computers are, and he's kind of like looking at the clock. And meanwhile, across town, Sandy is onto her second bottle of champagne and trying to fuck a photograph of Napoleon Solo.
Yeah, again, I'm always doing this.
A framed glossy of him.
Of Robert Vaughn.
Framed glossy of Robert Vaughn. Just a classic like casting photo.
Secret agent.
So I want to tell you something, right? So as a joke, so in my old house, my childhood home where I grew up, there were like photos of the family on the whole table, you know? And like as a joke, my brother printed out this picture of Robert Vaughn and just like put it on the table to see how long it would take my parents to notice.
So good.
And because my parents are like so loving and supporting of their children, they never threw it out. They just like put it in the drawer of the whole table, just like when guests came round, and we would just like keep putting it back. And we would just refer to this as Uncle Robert.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And in fact, still, the family group chat on WhatsApp is still called Uncle Robert's group chat. And has Robert Vaughn has this picture as the picture.
Fuck yeah. Hell fucking yeah.
I've learned so much like Abigail Thorne lore. So she tries to fuck the photograph of Abby's uncle. And she's getting more and more like drunk and fucked up and angry that Napoleon has stood her up, because the other thing that you need to know about Sandy is that she's crazy, right? She's on those good 60s uppers, and as a consequence she's throwing glasses of champagne around, she's throwing the photograph around, and
good 60s
Solo
uppers, for fuck's sake.
Solo like begs off work. He gets Ilya to like cover for him. Ilya has a great line, by the way. He just says,
I've got my computers to keep me warm.
It's like, okay.
Good lad. Top bloke.
So Solo goes to Sandy's apartment, and here we get the weirdest fucking scene of the movie, because Sandy has a gentleman caller instead of Solo. She's like comforting herself. She's found another man, and this man is an inflatable clown that she keeps in her bedroom.
I swear this wasn't in the last scene in this bedroom.
No, it wasn't.
So she's
it's
inflated it and brought
the
it
clown.
in since then?
Yes. She has a clown body pillow.
Yeah,
So
she
she was like-
takes drunkily and angrily inflated a clown which cannot be a short affair.
Because it wasn't in the room that morning, she must have gone, I've got a date tonight, so I'm going to dress up nice, I'm going to put my makeup on, I'm going to inflate the clown, and put it in the bedroom next to my bed. What?
Oh, I hate it when girls inflate the clown.
How did the clown get in the room? Never mind.
You've switched off all of the lights in your house. You've inflated the clown. You
So
forgot about the poison sockets.
She takes the clown to bed, and she's on the bed hugging the clown again, like you would a body
This
pillow.
thing is as big as
perhaps.
she is. By the way,
Yeah. She's doing visual bits. She's doing visual bits on her own to no one because she's mad.
She's kissing the clown's nose. Like,
Mad at Napoleon.
60s uppers. 60s uppers. She was on the shit that
clown
like
is
Hunter S.
fucking real, like-
Thompson was on.
I gotta get me some of these.
And at this point, Solo knocks on the door like, hey, sorry I'm late. And she goes, no, fuck off. I'm fucking the clown now. The clown is my man. In a greater sense, Napoleon Solo, it is you who is the clown, because you were going to have sex with me, and now you can't.
of course, listeners, any woman who has sex with a man is a clown. So Solo,
Hey.
at this point, having been told to go away, lets himself in unannounced to this woman's apartment. I don't know
Yep.
what the lighting or the makeup situation was in this scene, but Robert Vaughn doesn't look good. He looks like he's made of sweaty ham.
Yeah, he like breaks into her apartment with the most smug expression we see on him
he doesn't
in this
look
movie.
good. He looks like roasted meat. But she like they kiss and she's into it, and then Robert Vaughn deflates the
What?
clown.
No. Hold on. We're gonna back up a bit because this is a Connery level of non-consent happening here.
Yeah.
He comes into her bedroom, interrupts her and the clown, and is like, "Okay, I'm gonna kiss you now." And she's like, "No." He kisses her. She kisses him back in this sort of classic '60s like it's okay to vitiate a woman's consent because like you know better sort of way, and in front of the clown
In front
as well.
of a clown. I'm not
In
having
front
sex
of
in
a
that
woman's clown.
Robert
fucking
Vaughn
clown.
cucks this clown.
He does,
does.
but he cucks the clown in a way that heavily implies that he is also going to have sex with the clown
I
later.
can't believe he's going to give us to 009.
He goes over to the clown and he's like, "Sorry, old boy, but three's a crowd. What are you doing later?" And then
Insanely
deflates
good
the
line.
fucking clown.
He's going to fuck the clown later. He's a man of principles,
He's gonna
alright?
re-inflate that
gonna make sure that clown
and
gets
fuck
off.
it.
We didn't see it, but when he cut in on Andrew Vulcan in the last film, he sucked Andrew Vulcan off. Like he made sure that the man
Absolutely.
got off.
As is right. As is
I
holy.
can't stress enough to you the fact that from first sight of clown to implication that Solo is going to fuck clown is 3 minutes. Minutes 15 through 18 of this movie. And I absorbed a sort of like a number of psychic blows during the course of those minutes that left me reeling.
We also see that Thrush are listening through the clown.
Through
Yeah,
the clown.
what the
It's
fuck?
their
Clown is a
clown.
Thrush agent.
So
009's been turned.
That clown arrived in her apartment that morning and she was like, must be
Yeah.
a gift. Just inflated it.
And the clown has a big fucking microphone in it. Like it's perfect. And
It's ideal. It's
we
cinema to me.
see that was it Darius? Yeah, Darius and the man
Yeah,
in bandages
Darius.
are listening.
Darius too, yeah.
Are like listening to this happening, and
they're listening to Solo's diabolical patter because what Solo says, she goes, "Oh, I feel like Italian," and he says,
You don't feel anything like Italian food.
"What?
what, dude?
You come into my house, you deflate my clown, and then you try and you deflate my clown, and you try to fuck me. And as you try to fuck me, you say I smell like Italian food. Well, no, I don't taste like Italian. What the fuck is going on? Why did you make us watch these, Abby?
Robert Vaughn's like way of seducing a woman is just like to pretend that he's had a stroke. He just
Yeah, and
says shit, man.
You don't smell like toast.
yeah, and every time it fucking works, he's like, you don't smell like Italian food, you smell like strawberries.
And
But
the best part
the man
is,
in bandages says,
he's-
"Can I watch Robert Vaughn fuck?" And then Darius is
Yeah.
like, "Nah."
Darius's main role in this movie is to like preserve Robert Vaughn's privacy. He's like, no one's watching him fuck. But also the way in which we find out that they're there is so perfect because Robert Vaughn is doing his diabolical patter of foods this woman smells like.
It doesn't feel like.
Which, yeah. And we just sort of cut to Darius with one eyebrow raised, listening to this shit, and slowly zoom out to reveal that like the guy in the bandages is there too.
Yeah, it's
Listeners-
perfect. It's fucking great.
Listeners, if you ever feel self-conscious about like dirty talking somebody, or if you ever just like, as a lot of people are, just like, I don't know if I'd be very good at like saying sexy stuff in the moment to turn someone on, just bear in mind, it can't be worse than this. When in doubt, okay, this is Robert Vaughn's best way of seducing a woman. When in doubt, give her a list of national foods that she's not like.
When the pussy tastes like pierogi. Okay, so Solo comes
Shut
back.
up.
Solo leaves work. Not Solo. Fuck. Kuryakin.
Ilya leaves. Oh my
Ilya
god, this is the best
Kuryakin.
scene!
This is the best scene in the fucking movie. Yeah, Ilya Kuryakin
I'm still reeling.
is under attack
Ilya-
in this moment.
Yeah. He leaves work, he goes out through the flower shop, and there are two little toy robots there. And the toy robots fire a couple of missiles
These
at him.
Argos motherfuckers with blue and then red plastic and googly spinning eyes
Fucking
fire
rock 'em,
missiles
sock 'em.
at him,
Oh, yeah.
which
Yeah.
he
He
deflects with
fends
a
them
bin
off.
lid.
With the bin lids. And then he says, the line that you
No, I'm
asked me
sorry,
to get this is...
sorry, hang on a minute. First of all, he shoots one of them once and it explodes.
That's right.
The
That's
second
right.
one is
Yeah,
defeated because he takes off his jacket and throws it over it. And just,
Surprisingly ripped under
it is
that jacket, by the
important.
way.
It is important, listeners, that you understand how easily these robots are defeated.
Yeah.
It's like 2 seconds apiece. One of them isn't even damaged. It's just incapacitated.
It just
by
has a
clothing
coat
item.
over it. and then this is unedited. This is pure spy with my face here.
I think someone is sending their Christmas presents a little early this year.
It's like Matt Berry.
It's perfect, man. It's fucking spot on.
Listeners, I need you to understand how easy it was to defeat these robots because the very next shot, we cut to Serena, the Thrush agent, and she goes, Operation Robot failed?
Yeah, and
She
next
doesn't even say Operation Robot. She says Operation Robot, which is my favorite way of pronouncing
She's so
it.
surprised that this failed.
She's like, I can't believe Operation Robot
She's like
has
genuinely
failed.
hurt. She's like, it failed? It's like, yes, it failed, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. And then fucking Desmond too is like, all right, Serena, try another strategy, and the guy controlling the robots comes see me immediately, and it like zooms out, and it's just like a big guy with a fucking like remote control plane and goes,
We
"Oh."
never see that guy again.
But she,
That
dead.
guy
she
is
that
says,
guy's
shall we
dead.
try
Fucking
another
done.
method? And my notes say, how about a fucking gun? Why should you have a man with a gun? You know where he is. Shoot him.
It's just like a guy posted up, maybe. I don't know. Fucking two
So-
robots.
Jesus Christ. Also, listeners, these robots are just like about as high as your knee.
Oh yeah. Maximum.
They're toys.
So having
Okay, Sandy
fucked
gets
Sandy.
BTFO. Sandy gets
Yeah.
blown out on this one. Yeah, they go out for dinner. Turns out she does actually feel like Italian food. Dickhead. And they're having a chat, and it zooms out, and sat on the next booth, staring at them,
Yes.
is fucking Joshua Graham again.
Yeah, it's perfect. And everyone is just like, sort of like not finding this at all suspicious. You just see like edges closer. And then Solo gets called away by like a phone call for him.
Oh, sorry. First of
So
all,
he
he
goes-
says, how was Rome? And she says it was gay.
Ah, that's true. She does say that.
It was gay, and it was exciting, and it was very lonely.
He gets called to the phone, and there waiting for him is Serena. But because he's like
in a white fur shawl.
looking
Gorgeous.
bricked up,
Yeah.
incredible. And he spins around and he repeats what I'm now finding is his signature move. He puts a gun in her tits,
Yeah.
just like in the first movie. He loves to do this.
So don't
He
worry,
does.
this is my microfilm gun.
And then we have this kind of fun line where he like sort of broadly like lampshades what always happens to him. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna try and take me somewhere, and then someone's gonna like whack me over the back of the head, and I'll get kidnapped." I'm trying to quit doing that, which is really funny.
I've got so much brain damage. I keep telling women that it don't feel like Italian food.
Would you believe that this man had been hit in the head a bunch of times?
You don't feel anything like Italian food.
But you know who does feel like Italian food is Robert Vaughn, because Sandy gets jealous and in revenge covers him in spaghetti.
She sees him with this beautiful, more attractive, more visibly transgender woman and like throws a plate of spaghetti over him. Thus giving him a helpfully discolored suit shoulder so that we know which one is the real Solo going forward. I also wrote down in the course of this, I think I have 1950s woman dysphoria.
What does that mean?
it's like regular gender dysphoria, but for like women in the 1950s. I also said that she was bricked up like Urshabet Battery there, so just one for the history heads there. So she says, but what about the August affair? And he goes, oh shit, you know about the August affair? I guess I do have to get kidnapped. I will come back to your apartment with you. He does that like a little interplay where he tries to get Uncle to put like a tracking device on him, but nothing really comes of it, so it's not important. He goes into her apartment with her. They kiss for a bit. He showers the spaghetti off of himself.
Yeah, because they're making out and she's like, you just smell of spaghetti, dude.
It's like,
Spaghetti
you
spilling
smell
from my
like
pockets,
Italian
like-
food.
Yeah, he does. She goes like, "You wear it well." And she's like, "Would you like to have a
like-
shower?" And he's like, "If you promise you're not going to attack me." She's like,
Please,
"Ow."
my
Please don't kill me when I'm naked and covered in spaghetti.
God, that would be so
he
embarrassing.
He takes his gun into the shower and he puts it on the soap dish, which is great.
It's quite cute.
And she comes in and
spoil the
she's like,
microfilm.
yeah, I would like to have sex with you in the shower. I'm not going to try and kill you.
She walks in gold heels, by the way. Beautiful.
Again, 1950s woman dysphoria. So
You
they
can
fuck.
get some gold
and-
heels.
They still sell these.
It's not the same.
It isn't the same.
It's more about the sort of like what's the word? Phenotype. Anyway, they fuck in the shower. He goes out into the apartment, and what I've written down here is Napoleon Solo mixes worst martini ever. Asked to leave Uncle.
I have written down every move he makes while he was creating this martini.
Yes.
Allow me to regale you. So,
Please.
He's stood at the desk. He's got a big bottle of gin on one side and a bottle of vermouth on the other.
Dubonnet, yep.
Like a mixing glass in the middle with exactly 2 ice cubes in it. He picks up the gin and pours like half of the bottle into there.
Yeah.
And
It's like 5 fingers.
like
yeah.
it's like gluck, 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 gluck. Like it takes longer than it reasonably should. And he picks up his vermouth and he puts in around a thimbleful. Like he inverts that bottle for like 0.1 of a second, does not stir, and then pours
Does
in the
not
2
shake.
glasses.
Pours it unevenly into 2 glasses as well.
Just
He
a
gives
bit
her
much.
like half the martini.
Just shit.
This is the scene where like your hero like mixes a drink to show that he's
Yeah.
like suave and cultured. But I think what happened is that Robert Vaughn just doesn't know how to do it, and like no one was there to really teach him.
I choose to read it as a deliberate send up of that. I think this is self-aware enough, but they're like, let's have him mix a shit martini now as a bit. And he
So
does.
he hands her the martini. They sit on the sofa, and he's like, "Okay, you got to tell me about the August affair." And she's like, "Oh, what's that? It's the door. You got to go get the door right now." He's like, "This is the part where I get kidnapped, isn't it?" And it is, but not in the way that he expects. Instead of getting hit over the back of the head, he just gets like gassed through the intercom, I think.
Yeah, so his double walks in, and it's just like, and then Serena presses a
You
button.
wouldn't shoot a guy who was also you.
You
would
wouldn't shoot a spy with your face, would you? And it goes,
Just Then Serena gasses him and he's knocked
Yeah,
out.
Serena gasses him. The head from Art Attack releases a burst of the good weed and it fucking takes him out.
He collapses face down into the shag carpet that's so deep you're like afraid he might drown.
And then the double comes in with Darius and some goons. The double kisses Serena and she's like, oh, it's not the same.
It's
not
really
as
good. It's the
good.
double kisses Serena, and like Darius looks over at it, and for a second he acts like he's mad, and then he just goes, "Excellent, spot on, perfect."
Because the real Robert Vaughn had lip fillers. And listeners, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but if you ever kissed someone who's had lip fillers, it feels so good.
Huh.
Yeah. It's like really like firm, but also soft. Incredible. That's how you can
A
tell.
whole new kind of self-awareness that I'm not thinking about.
Oh yeah. So they take him to Switzerland, specifically the part of Switzerland that's in Griffith Park in Los Angeles. More specifically, the part of Griffith Park with Griffith Observatory in it, which gets a lot of like exterior shots of like zooming in, and be like just outside Zurich. Looks like Southern California. It's perfect. He.
I love old
He's
films
like-
that just sort of have the strong stance that trees everywhere are the same.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
like-
Everywhere is Southern California.
Yeah.
Everywhere looks like it.
Mhm.
So they chain him up for a bit, and then he does my favorite thing in this movie, which is every single time he gets a break, even for a second, he just like makes a break for it. He like tries to run,
It's so
even in the
good.
times where he knows it's not going to work. And so they like unhandcuff him for a second, and he makes a break for it. And a beautiful woman knocks him unconscious in such a way that he falls headfirst into her tits, slides down the rest of her body, and then falls unconscious on the floor.
The ideal.
Which is
Yeah.
the dream, the ideal. That's right.
Mhm.
Great first date idea for you.
Absolutely. So now we have to catch up with fake Solo, who is going to infiltrate Uncle. We see him go in. He's not really talking much, and he's doing his best to like look sinister.
There's also there's a nice detail that all the secretaries working for Uncle, presumably because of what happened in the last film, all of them now carry guns, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that they treat the fact that he's just walking past a large amount of women without making any sort of advances inherently suspicious and sinister. I really enjoy.
How were the 1960s possibly homophobic? Anyway, so also my favorite thing about this hallway scene is there's a guy walking past who is just carrying a contraption, and to me that's
He is,
scene
yeah.
setting.
Something we've missed, but I desperately want to mention is that during the scene where Napoleon is being like chained up, it opens on the line from Darius 2 who goes, "Will the real Napoleon Solo stand up, please?" And I was like, nice.
Yeah, so he goes in, he meets Kuryakin, he meets his boss, Mr. Waverly, and they get a briefing, which is you have to go to Washington, D.C., pick up some shit, deliver that shit to fucking Austria, I think, in order to like change the combination of a vault that contains something very secret and very powerful. And the whole time they're like sort of like cutting to fake Solo, who is like nefarious.
Yeah, they've got to go and pick up a briefcase from Washington, D.C., which has the new vault combination in it. And Ilya Kuryakin is like, "What is in this vault?" And they're like, "We can't tell you yet.
We have big plan.
You'll find out later in the film in the most incredible,
Yeah.
fucking mind-blowing scene you've ever seen in your life."
You'll find out later, but you
that's
won't
right.
actually really know what it is.
Yeah,
Even.
you'll kind of find out.
Still not quite sure.
We also see that knife guy.
Yeah, because
Kittredge.
they're sending two other guys with them. They're going to meet those guys in DC, but then after they leave, we see Kittredge, the alleged Australian, come in.
Yeah, we do.
And he makes a fatal error. He tries to do bits with
He
his
does.
boss,
I've
which you
got
should
this as
never
well.
do. Please.
The only
is-
bit you should do with your boss is pulling a gun on him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here's the bit.
Since our identity photos don't show you with a beard, Mr. Kittredge, is the beard real?
No, sir, it's a fake. I've got the real one in my pocket.
Yes.
Brutal.
Devastating.
If someone hits you with the yes, you're fucked. You're done.
Done.
It's just
There's-
over for you.
There's no way back on that one. I'm sorry.
No.
So they tell, M tells Kittredge, trail Solo and Kuryakin just to make sure nothing happens to them. Don't talk to them, don't interact, but just kind of follow them and keep an eye on them.
And again, don't acknowledge Solo as well. If he like tries to interact with you, he'll understand.
They fly to Uncle Washington Branch.
Yes.
Yep. Square windows on the airliners, which is a real throwback.
Jesus.
And the flight attendant goes past. Solo takes no notice of her, and Ilya gives him this look that, like, because Solo has like passed up an opportunity to sexually harass a flight attendant. This cannot be my boy. It can't be.
She wasn't showing an interest in him, by the way. It's not like she came by with like, her buttons unbuttoned and was like, is there anything I can get you, Mr. Solo? She's just like normal. She's just a woman doing her job.
He has a perfectly normal interaction with the flight attendant, which is to not look at her. And Ilya's like, something's fucking up here. Something's going on. Yeah, which is perfect. So they fly to DC. They meet the two other agents. One of them is from Sicily, and the other one is Liberian. And we get another sort of like little shade of like that sort of like 60s progressivism, where this is totally unremarkable. It was good.
Also, it occasions one of the funniest moments in the film where the Liberian agent comes in and the Italian guy says, "Oh, what's your name?" And he tells him, and he says, "Oh yeah, I worked with your brother. How's your brother?" Cut into just like an extreme close up of the Liberian guy who just goes, "My brother is dead."
No one
and
says
then they all just move on.
No one says shit.
What the fuck? Like the delivery is incredible, and the reaction of everyone else in the room is just like beat. So this is our mission. We're gonna. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like,
great.
I quite firmly believe no one says anything to the Liberian guy from that point onward.
Also, I've only met your husband a couple of times, Alice. And only briefly, but my notes say that this guy kind of looks a little bit like Chris. He's got the same kind of same sort of height, same like soft features. He's quite charming in the same way. So I did just call him Chris for the whole notes.
Can't believe I kill my husband.
Yeah.
Spoilers. So they take what is one of my favorite items in the universe of items, a briefcase with a pair of handcuffs attached to it. So you handcuff it to your wrist. Love that shit. This is how I would carry around everything if I could, just day to day.
You can do that.
And I might start doing that.
You can buy gold heels.
A whole world is opening up.
Listeners, you can just transition. You can do it.
It's a weird ensemble, I'll tell you that. The gold heels and the handcuff briefcase.
Weird but powerful. Yeah.
No one's going to ask you
about
it. No one's going to confront you about this.
Well, if I'm going through airport security with my gold heels, my like handcuffed briefcase, my gun.
It's all right. It's a microphone gun.
Don't worry.
That's right. So they pick up this briefcase. They get on the plane to take it to Austria or Switzerland, or whatever the fuck. The Alps, I'll just say. And on the plane, they're doing some like spy work, some spy paperwork together. I'm not sure what the fuck that is. And the flight attendant comes by, and it's Sandy. And fake Solo, first of all, has no way of recognizing her, and second of all,
he never saw the video of them fucking.
Exactly. This is why you have to let your employees spy on their targets. Fucking. This Darius is like, fuck this. But he doesn't recognize her, and so he doesn't interact. He's just like, oh, can I have a coffee, please? It's like, oh, can I have some coffee, please? Which is a weird tack to take. Yeah, and see,
like Darius and the fucking fake Solo listening, and it's just like a series of squeaks. Solo fake Solo being like, "Can I watch this?" Darius like,
"Go back to duties, you miserable pervert."
If you last saw your boyfriend having sex with your inflatable clown, and then the next time you see him, he's just quite brusque with you, and he's like, "Okay, just have a coffee, please, stewardess." I think you'd be within your rights to be hurt, right?
Yeah.
And Sandy is hurt, partly because of this and partly because she's crazy. We're going to talk about how this fucking movie thinks about women. And so she's very offended. She goes back to the galley where there's another flight attendant. And we have a very interesting little scene where this other flight attendant is just like, well, maybe he's married. Sometimes they forget that they're married. And it's a very interesting sort of scene about like womanhood of the time in a way that doesn't pass the Bechdel test, if you know what I mean. It's like this is an interesting vignette. And then she kind of like makes him his coffee and she like puts her smile back on and she goes back out. But because she's crazy, she spills the hot coffee all over his dick and balls.
That's right.
But he uses this to his advantage because he uses it as an excuse to go into the bathroom and like photograph the contents of the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a whole intrigue here with like a guy switching the case. And this leads to a scene where like he's in the bathroom doing the shit and like
such a long scene, man.
Well, that's the other thing is like I hate when I'm in the bathroom and my boys are outside timing me to make sure there's nothing suspicious going on in there. This is like social anxiety shit. But they are because they can't be like out of sight of the case.
Your boy General Urumov is like, I am timing you.
Horrific. I'm always fighting for my life in the toilet, man. I can't be having someone outside of a stopwatch. I'd lose it. You can't
be like gone for like a period of time. That's no, thank you.
These boys have separation anxiety.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
But also in the process of photographing the contents of the case, a loose button falls off his jacket and ends up inside the case. This becomes important later.
Yeah. So he brings the case back, and then on the way out, Kittredge, the Australian, sees him, and he goes, because he's overheard the stewardess talking about how it's almost like he didn't recognize
It's almost like he's a different person.
Kittredge like puts it together instantly in his mind, and he's like, oh, it was cool being with you in Australia when I got shot in the right shoulder. And because he's seen the video of this, the doubler is able to be like, oh no, you weren't. You had a knife in the left shoulder. And Kittredge is instantly soothed.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is my boy.
Despite the fact that Kittredge knew at the time that he was on camera when that happened.
He's like, this is my boy.
And as you do when you meet your boy on an airline, you offer him the dankest fucking ganja you possibly can put together.
Yeah.
Deadliest shit.
Smoking on a plane, man. Like
smoking on a plane.
I've been saying for a long time that we need to invent a cigarette that's good for you.
I've been saying this so much.
This cigarette is even worse for you than usual.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This is the cousin of the cigarette that's good for you. This is the cigarette that kills you instantly, which I would hate to smoke.
There's one of those in the world at any one time.
And Kittredge, having OCD when I was a smoker was fucking atrocious because I'd be like, oh, there's one of those in every pack and it's random every time. So Kittredge, like, he smokes the cigarette that kills you instantly and is killed instantly and collapses back in his seat.
Cyanide!
Yeah, but just in case the audience can't put it together, he goes, cyanide! I remember you must have seen me on the video camera and that's how you knew about that. And then collapses.
The cigarette that kills you instantly. And then collapses.
That kills you instantly.
Black, like,
I love the cigarette that kills you instantly.
Because this was from the days when cigarette companies were still deliberately and knowingly covering up the fact that their product causes cancer. We don't get a line which is just like filthy habit or like those things will kill you. Like we don't get that line that you would these days. But back then they're like, that's so ironic. Cigarettes are normally so good for you.
It's done the opposite of soothing his T-zone.
Yeah, it's getting killed by the cigarette.
It's aggravated it.
Getting killed by the cigarette that kills you is like getting killed by like muesli to them. They're like, what the fuck? Holy shit!
The muesli that kills you instantly.
Not the muesli that kills you instantly.
So Kuryakin sees the guy dead and is like, oh, he must have been a thrush agent, right? And fakes. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and instantly stone fucking cold. Kuryakin is just like, all right, beautiful. I'm going to plant a little card in his wallet that says he's a diabetic. So then we could be
yes.
Must have died of being a diabetic. Fucking sucks all. LOL.
He was a diabetic, a death sentence. And the thing is, later on, as they're getting off the plane when they find the body, Kuryakin like inserts himself into the scene as like the nearest man, and he just goes through the guy's pockets, doesn't check his pulse or anything, because that's gay shit. He just goes through his pockets and he goes,
He was a diabetic.
I I have that exact same drop.
So good. I love the music.
So the stings are so fucking good.
Also,
Always.
I love the way Ilya flirts with the stewardess, where she's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And he says, "I pretend to be a businessman, but secretly I'm a Russian spy." And she goes, "Oh yeah,
He's
in
got
the
better
off-season-
game than Solo
yeah, in
does.
the off. Well, he immediately wins the Brian Cox Memorial Award in Intelligence.
Of course.
But then she turns it around on him by saying, "Oh yeah, when I'm not a stewardess, I'm like a linebacker for the Chicago Bears." Like, it's quite cute.
Yeah, and he goes,
great,
"Do
yeah.
you think that a linebacker for the Chicago Bears and a Russian spy could maybe fall in love?"
Like, have a drink
it's
together.
possible
Something, yeah.
A quirked up Russian spy.
Just for the one time? Do you think it would be possible to let a
Meanwhile-
quirked up Russian spy hit just once? Go on, sorry.
Meanwhile, back at Griffith Observatory,
sorry.
You may be asking yourself at this point, is the real Napoleon Solo getting pussy at this time? And the answer is sort of.
Yeah.
I would have thought you'd really enjoy this scene, Alice, because he's first handcuffed
do.
down, and then he's massaged
always
by
a
an
positive.
aggressive blonde lady.
Called Nina, who I wrote down, hello. I also appreciate that once again he makes an attempt to break for it.
Yeah.
Like, anytime. This is Solo's, like, work tip number 2 is anytime, if you're held captive, anytime the handcuffs come off, for a second, you make a break for it every single time.
If you're fast enough, like,
Yeah,
Lure them into a
Don't even
false sense
try.
of insecurity. Just go all the time,
At any time
constantly.
you feel the slightest amount of slack on your handcuffs, just fucking immediately make for the exit. Don't even-
if you find yourself in like restraints, what you're gonna want to do is start thrashing wildly against them at any time,
Yeah.
any moment, all the time.
Maintain kayfabe the entire time, and then the second you
never
think there's a
habituate
chance-
yourself to capture. Always try to escape. Never play it cool. Never try and like put on a facade. Just go every time. But so, but so Nina's giving him this like aggressive massage. He steals one of her hairpins by trying to smell her hair, which
Normal.
is Biden-esque.
Danger.
Also,
Yeah.
something else I noticed. Whenever Solo's about to say some shit, like whenever he's about to go a bit off-piste, he opens like Bob Hope by saying, "I tell ya." And he does this with Nina a couple of times. He's like, "I tell you, your hair smells amazing. I tell you, my latissimus dorsi is a little bit tense or whatever." And meanwhile, we see through a peephole that a guard is watching them, and this is when we get the
Go about your duties, you miserable pervert.
line
Just so
as
good.
Darius pushes him away, and then also like immediately takes over and
And
starts
immediate-
watching.
Yeah, and like not even like subtly, like his hands are like pressed against this thing. He's so into it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's perfect. He's like a jealous voyeur.
Then we get, the best scene of the entire film, because the
Yes.
lads, the fake double and the lads, they rock up to this hillside bunker with the case to deliver it. And at this point, listeners, the film is like kind of dragging a little bit because there's a little bit of intrigue with like cases being swapped and combinations, and we're shown every detail of that. And at this point, I'm kind of like sitting back in my chair, like, yeah, okay, stuffing the case, yeah. And they deliver it to this lady who runs the vault, who just goes, "Aliens are real."
Yeah.
sick.
Well, no, she doesn't open with that. She opens with, "First, we're going to need you to dress like a slightly different kind of dipshit. Everyone put on these big goggles and these coveralls." Then she gets them down into the vault and she's like, "Right, aliens are real. We've been intercepting transmissions from beyond the stars that show that we could one day be assaulted by aliens. And so as a response,
And I've written down, huh?
This film
I
takes
wrote
a
my note
hard
is
left turn at this point. Like, we're
Yeah, it's so
2/3 of the way in, and they've just
all
dropped
caps,
aliens.
double underlined, spy-fi, let's go."
Well, the thing is, all the agents just react to this like, yeah, of course, yeah.
I was like, huh.
Not once do any of them go, what?
It's like, yeah, why wouldn't we develop the anti-alien weapon? And the anti-alien weapon is like a kind of electromagnetic gamma ray.
Yeah, it's not actually even specified what this is. So the thing in the vault is called Project Earth Save. First of all, great name. And that's the kind of anti-alien ultimate weapon. We never really find out exactly what it is. The lady running the vault says that it would literally nullify all nuclear weapons on Earth if it was ever used. And it's like, what?
She has an insanely hard line here too, because she says, "Oh, don't take off the fucking glasses, the goggles, or else." Because if you look at that shit in the vault, it's like the wish granter. You're gonna want to go in the vault, and you're not coming back out of the vault. And she says,
"Why did she open the vault then?"
Yeah, and then she just for no reason opens the vault.
Yeah. She's like, don't look at this thing I'm about to reveal.
Check this out.
and she says, you can't save a man who no longer exists, which is insanely hard. They open the case, and then the Liberian agent, Chris, my husband, sees the button in there, puts 2 and 2 together, and fake Solo just knocks the goggles off his head, instantly causing him to look in the vault and being like,
beguiled.
it's time to go in the vault.
It's time to go in the vault.
There's like light pouring out of the door and like weird like visual effects. It's like the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, it's
but not as
pretty
good.
cool, honestly, because obviously this was like
it's a good conceit.
Cool if I knew what the fuck it was. Or how
I
does
like
that,
that I don't know
how
what it
does
is.
that help? How does that help deny aliens? Whatever.
Because the aliens would also want to get in the vault.
Yeah, the aliens would be like, yo,
Sort of like
shit, is that a vault?
Just get down there, like, yeah, whatever.
Just a sign that's like, check out this vault.
The alien's like, oh, yo.
Let's go, do not wear goggles.
I love to meet all of my normal human friends at vault. Do not bring goggles.
This will work. 100% this will work.
Yeah,
this forestalls the entire
golden record on Sputnik. It's just like, all humans love to go to vault and look in.
Yeah, the keys to our entire planet are within vault.
I'm mentally capitalizing this every time, and I hope you are too.
Oh yeah, of course. It's in like small caps.
We do see that when the lads get back to the hotel, the kind of ski lodge hotel afterwards, they are like kind of fucked up by this because they're like, oh, we were going to go hiking, but everyone's just like, yeah, I just saw Alice's husband get devoured by Volt.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I'm just going to stay here now.
He's in the vault
I just found out aliens are real. I'm just going to take the afternoon off, I think.
Like, he's like, I appreciate I'm actually like the Sicilian agent's just like, you know what, man? I'm probably going to have a lie down.
don't really feel up to it right now. I'm on some like sort of outside context problem shit right now, dude.
I did not expect to deal with an accession this morning. I'm not happy about this.
Yeah, I'm sort of questioning whether that guy is separable from the vault now.
Yeah, but
so meanwhile,
that guy's in the vault, but don't worry about it.
He doesn't. He no
Is he,
longer
like, of
exists.
the
You can't
vault?
save him.
He's gone.
That's true. So, meanwhile, back at Griffith Observatory, we get a sort of a horrible scene that I really don't like. Solo's eating dinner, which is like fucked-looking mashed potatoes, and he takes a light bulb out of the like light fixture, breaks it, and puts broken glass in his food. This is a real thing for me. I thought we were done with this after Jack Ryan. But so because the guy is spying on him, like presumably hoping he's going to fuck something else, he's like, you can't be having broken glass in your food because that's bad for you.
What did he think he was going to do with the broken glass?
Well, we see because he sees the guy spy on him. It makes the guy go, oh, well, I'll just take the other light bulb out of this light
What
fitting.
did the guy think he was going to do with this?
Kill himself?
Probably some sort of like suicide attempt, I'd imagine. I don't particularly know.
I don't know. If I was being locked in a cell and given all my food and regular pussy, I probably wouldn't kill myself, but whatever.
Regular Swedish masseuse pussy. But so he takes the other light fixture and he like
irregular. Swedish masseuse pussy, actually.
It's a non-congruent Swedish masseuse pussy.
Have you got any clowns? Yeah, what's the Swedish pussy like in the vault?
Some sponsored visitation with the clown.
No, not the fucking. We're not doing outside context pussy. We can't do that. We're not.
Clowngical visits.
Pussy beyond your wildest imagining.
Pussy I have no frame of reference for.
Don't look directly at the pussy.
Yeah, just
Can't say a man who no longer exists.
never remove your pussy eating goggle.
Yeah. A friend of mine one time tried to eat pussy without his welding goggles on. He's inseparable from the pussy now. It's impossible to know.
He's gone. He's out of here. You can't. Don't touch him. He'll drag him in. He'll drag you in with him.
The vault is the weirdest. The vault is such a fucking insane thing to drop in the middle
And
of
they
this
just leave it there.
episode.
It's just gone. Yeah.
This was in the 8th episode of the series.
Just by the way, aliens are real. Don't worry about it though.
We'll beat them with
Continue
this.
on with your spy shit.
Yeah, you can just do that. It doesn't matter. You know aliens are real. We'll get them with the vault. Don't worry about it. It's a solved problem.
As soon as he's left in the dark, Solo escapes using the hairpin that he took out of Inga's hair or whatever, and then activates the escape vent that they've helpfully put in his cell. There's a grate on either end of these, and neither of them are secured to anything by anything, so he just lifts it off and gets in. He climbs up into the dome of Griffith Observatory where Darius is there, and Darius is like, we're gonna fight, but I've triggered the auto-destruct clock, and I love the auto-destruct clock.
Auto-destruct clock is fantastic.
The auto-destruct for the whole base is
Yes.
one button.
Darius has some sort of self-esteem problems because he's like, I see Napoleon Solo is in the room. It's time to kill myself and everyone around me.
But the button, the process to destroy your entire base is one button, and it's just on the wall. This thing
It's not even a button, it's a clock. It's a wall clock.
And it also cannot be deactivated. So this thing is easier to activate than a fucking fire alarm. Why is it one button? They're just now we're all fucked. Put it behind glass, dude.
2 keys, anything.
Yeah, a password maybe.
Any of the classic methods, but no. But fortunately, there is an easy.
There is an easy way around it, which is that Solo just moves the hands of the clock to delay it. Which
why wouldn't you tape it down?
Which conjures the delightful scenario that somebody accidentally knocked it a week ago, and then the agents of Thrush have to keep remembering.
Every 30 minutes, someone has to move the clock back to 30 minutes.
Well, close that time.
So
Thrush, don't work there. Don't work with Thrush.
Don't work there.
They've got the
terrible
boiling piss.
racing.
They've got the fucking. They've got. Oh dear.
So Solo kills Darius. He escapes onto the roof of Griffith Observatory. It's cool that they got to film on the real thing. I stopped the clock at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 31 seconds from start to first Uncle chop between the shoulder blades.
Yeah, perfectly takes out a guard.
As he takes out a guard.
Uncle chop. Gorgeous.
Yep. He steals some incredibly plastic-looking grenades, and then as the base blows up, he escapes into that famous Swiss-Austrian chaparral of Los Angeles County.
The classic mountain chaparral.
That's right. Meanwhile, Ilya is still he's on a date with his air hostess.
Yeah.
And we get a joke which I think is making fun of racist jokes, which is again sort of curiously progressive, where she asks him what he thinks of Americans, and he goes, "I find them very charming, but I wouldn't want my sister to marry one."
I like it.
Yeah,
I thought that was
funny.
quite good. I really like Ilya in this. I
do too.
Very charming.
David McCallum's a better actor than Robert Vaughn. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's also quite cute that she's just I'm so horny, please fuck me, and he's like, do you want to talk about art or literature or
See, again,
Russian culture?
60s woman
Dick?
dysphoria. 60s woman dysphoria. You could wear the gold heels. You could walk into every social interaction with "dick inside me" when, and that was just perfect, incredible.
Yo, I brought this clown.
That's right.
CIA
but so
clowns.
he's interrupted. Fuck, I can't believe I didn't think to use that. They're interrupted by a phone call from Uncle, from M, who tells Kuryakin, "Oh, hey, that diabetic guy, he was one of us.
He was an
You
Australian
worked
uncle.
with him. You worked with this man.
You met him,
You were
did you?
in that scene. You were in the first scene. You were there when he got the knife thrown at him. You were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Not really
but
sure.
Ilya has forgotten this. Doesn't matter. And he puts together. Okay, this is in fact not my boy. Solo is fake Solo. And he has the like combinations to the safe that contains Project Earth Save now.
And also Chris.
That's right.
He's the vault.
He walks into the sauna where fake Solo is trying to kiss
Serena.
Christ, what's
Serena,
her name?
yeah.
Serena.
But she's
Serena,
not going
and
for it
Serena.
because he's not.
Serena's
Solo.
on some turf shit. She's on some turf shit. What she says is,
The ingenious plastic surgery of thrush can make a sow's ear look like a silk purse, but it will never feel like a silk purse.
he's a medically created Napoleon Solo. And it's not the same as like a biological
She's like,
Napoleon
I'm not
Solo.
interested in your axe wound, your exogenous hormones, Napoleon Solo.
Yeah, she's not happy with the quality of his like neo vagina or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
at
they
this
are
point,
right. You can tell the difference. We're better.
Yeah.
It's got
Heated
the custom
interior, it's got the plush
upholstery.
leather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you ever take the goggles off looking into one, you're never coming
You're
back.
beguiled.
Yeah, that's true.
but- yeah, and Ilya fails the most basic test, the thing that Solo fails all the time. He goes, wait a second, you're not the real Solo. Gets hit over the back of the head.
Yeah, but his line is pretty good though.
He does hit the fake Solo in the balls first, which is funny.
That's true. And he's like, his balls would never be like this.
He goes in. He's just like, that guy was a fucking Uncle Agent, hey pal, or some shit like that. And
Yeah.
fake Napoleon's like, no, you're not interrupting anything. We were actually just leaving. And Ilya's line is, he would have had more savoir-faire than to leave, which I found to be quite charming. He knows
That's
his
good.
boy.
So we get another heat-based torture as they lock him in the
it's kind of
sauna
weird.
in
This
a
is the
full suit.
second movie in a row where they try and steam an Uncle Agent to death.
A third
Yeah.
cooked agent, I think. I'm calling it steamed in the first one. The Liberian guy gets
Sous vide
microwaved.
it. Yeah.
And this guy's just in an
I would say
induction
he's.
cooker.
Yeah, exactly. They lock him in the thing. They like put a big out of order sign on there. Turn the heat all the way up. But he is able to like call for help by like kicking the bench with his dress shoes well enough that his like flight attendant like sees him and releases him. At this point, real Solo is on his way there. He's got a convenient like bandage over his eyebrow so we know he's real Solo. Fake Solo and Serena are going to go and kill him. They keep in a line that Robert Vaughn fucks up where he says like, we're going to have to line, and they just leave
They
it
leave it
in.
in, and then he says, so their plan is, okay, we're gonna go and kill the real Napoleon Solo, chuck him and Sandy off a cliff, and then you'll be the victim of amnesia. It's like, okay, great plan. Sounds good, man. It's all going really well for you.
Yeah.
Last ditch plan.
And so
Trying his best, yeah.
So they do intercept Solo with Kuryakin like giving chase.
Yeah, I've
along with
written
random Sicilian dude.
I've written angrily rides a motorbike at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, they shoot out the tires of the motorbike, and then real Solo and fake Solo fight. But we don't get the scene that I expected the whole movie of which one do I shoot? Because Serena just fucking stands there kicking her heels, not helping at all.
Yeah, like she just
okay.
watches this fight the same way that a lot of the audience do. She's like, yeah, she just like puts her hair behind her ear. and
I've
doesn't
wrote this
seem
down as
particularly
well.
bothered.
She's watching like a brutal fight for death with a level of interest approaching like seeing an interestingly shaped cloud. Just being like, oh wow. Huh.
And then ultimately she like shoots fake Solo, evil Solo, who like goes over the edge of the cliff. And at this point I'm like, did his dick like turn her good? Because James Bond's done that before, but usually the women are at least briefly conflicted. But as we find out afterwards, as he's sort of like debriefing her, it's much more mercenary than that. And I actually like this a lot. She's like, no, this was a fuck up from start to finish. If I'm the only survivor, it's not my fuck up. It's the dead guy. You're going to let me go because I saved your life and you're a good guy. And I'm not. So I can just keep doing whatever. And it's genuinely quite good. It's smart. I like it. It's Machiavellian. Also, Sandy is there. And we see that, like, we get a, like, oh, am I the real Solo thing? And we find out that he is the real Solo because he kisses Sandy and she's into it because of the lip fillers or whatever. And in a perfect line, Ilya just describes Vorsh.
When an attractive woman passes, he responds automatically.
Go about your duties, you miserable pervert.
That was brutal, Alice. Can we keep that in? Like,
I think we can.
Fucking keep it in. Who cares?
Yeah. When an attractive woman passes, he responds automatically. And that's the fucking movie. That's the spy with my
as Robert Ford is
face.
making out with Sandy, in the background, a clown slowly inflates.
I genuinely, like, I would say what passes for quite a sweet ending in the 60s. Although, to be fair, the reason why it's sweet is because both men involved received their reward pussy. But, like,
Yes.
that's why I say for what passes for it in the 60s. But, like, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Serena gets to be like a sort of like competent rival, and she gets to like have agency, sort of like not wholly based on sex appeal. On the other hand, like I can't. Yeah, I can't stress enough the extent to which this movie goes with like. By the way, Sandy is crazy.
Yeah.
Because she's like boy crazy, and this is just like a normal thing. Because women be like that. And it's like only some of us. What does the spy with my face say about masculinity? Do we think?
What if there's two of you? I mean, I'm still reading from the aliens thing personally.
Yeah, what if there was aliens? That says a lot about masculinity, as if there was aliens.
It does say kind of quietly. It says if you and the boys are out in the 60s, it's okay if one of you's black. Which
that's true.
Okay, weirdly progressive for the era.
Mm-hmm.
He will die. He'll be the only one who does. But you know.
Yeah, but it's being black is sort of morally equivalent to being Sicilian, right? Which is for 1965 is progressive.
All right, put that on the quotes page.
Yeah.
This is also something that old Northern Italians believe, but in the opposite direction. We have a science-based.
We do have a science-based rating system
on this podcast. It's called the Scum System. How smarmy is this movie, and why is it 9 out of 10?
I don't think it's as smarmy as last time.
It's not. Is it? I actually don't know, because like the thing about it is that real Napoleon, doesn't actually get that much screen time, and he's the smarmiest member.
That's true. On the other hand, the argument for the prosecution.
You don't feel anything like Italian food.
I don't think that's smart. That's just a man's dying brain.
He's so smarmy, he tries to fuck an inflatable clown on instinct. Like,
who among us?
I'm leaving that one. I'm leaving that one on the ground, I'm afraid.
Me amongst us, I've never fucked an inflatable clown.
I've fucked some clowns in my time, let me tell you. Oh!
Well, yeah, I mean, some clowns in mine. Never fucked an inflatable clown. I'm willing to put that on the record.
Yeah, nor have I. So 4, 5? Last time was 5.
If you think it's less, 4, but 4, fine.
Yeah, 4's fine.
Cultural
It was
insensitivity.
not, but it's out of 7, so it is over half.
Cultural insensitivity, relatively low. Like the only, it does say that like the Alps are indistinguishable from Southern California, which I suppose is a kind of like American parochialism to the extreme, which I quite like.
I think that's just limitations of the form.
Yeah, but there's bits of
color.
California that look like the Alps. You could drive there, but you didn't want to drive like an hour.
There is one person of color named person of color in the cast, and he is the guy who dies.
That's true.
It's not great. I'm not saying it's good. It did very much come out in the late 60s, but not in the late mid 65.
Compare this to a Bond movie of the time.
Yeah, very true.
I would say, if anything, three's. I think it's about the same. Yeah,
sure.
Unprovoked violence, probably slightly higher than last time because they do kill people this time, including the driver at the start who was unarmed.
He kills that guy for bottoming. I mean, that's if nothing else homophobia.
Yeah, but that under cultural insensitivity, actually.
That
driver at the start was an old man and he didn't have a gun.
Okay, yeah, that's a significant infraction. I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah, killed an old man.
I could do like 3.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Sure,
and
sure.
misogyny. Last time was 8.
I think it's less bad, but it's still pretty fucking bad. Again, I think it's better than a comparable Bond movie. On the other hand, it is a sort of running, harmless gag that like Solo will just sort of sexually harass flight attendants.
Yeah.
Like
he's a known danger.
Yeah, well, exactly. Plus, he does like sexually assault a woman on camera, and then sort of like, yeah, no, it's high.
It's high.
I want to say it's got to be at least a 7, right? We did 8 last time.
Last time was 8. Is this more or less misogynistic than last time? Hard to.
Ooh, I think it might be more.
I think it might be more because it's like the assault on camera. You're right. Like,
okay.
I think it's a 9.
Yeah, let's give it a 9. In that case, that gives a total score of 19, which is worse than last time. And it's like starting to get towards the higher end of things. Equivalent to Diamonds Are Forever, if you're keeping track of the bonus.
Wow.
And From Russia with Love.
And that's
what a film
that
like
was. Deep Connery.
Yeah.
God.
It's kind of interestingly paralleling. That's quite interesting that we had 17 and then 19, which was Dr. No and From Russia with Love. So if we're on track, if it's also following the same scores that the Bond franchise did, next time will be The Man from Uncle's Goldfinger, and it'll be really bad. But we shall see.
Lord.
I don't know what the next one's called.
The next one is called One Spy Too Many.
Isn't that the plot of this one?
Yeah.
One spy too many.
One spy too many. And then after that, we have one of our spies is missing, the spy in the green hat, the karate killers, the helicopter spies, and how to steal the world. So we have a great deal of work ahead of us.
Helicopter spies.
That's right. What are we doing for our next bonus episode?
I believe you have the choice.
Equilibrium. Equilibrium, a movie about taking your hormones. So join us for that. It is free because we're doing free bonus episodes over the winter, but we have a Patreon. You can subscribe to it if you do have the spare cash and you want to send us some. We appreciate it very much. It only remains for us.
It's time for us to give the okay signal, remove our goggles, and look into the vault.
Our clowns. Yeah, that's right. And we will see you in the vault, where all future episodes will be recorded from.
Normal
thank
human
you for listening
beings love to go to the vault.
The vault.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. I've got to stop saying yet another at the start of these. It makes it feel like we've overstayed the welcome. Congratulations for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. Currently, you do not have to give us any money, but some people do, and it would be rude of me not to give them their due. So, our £15 and above patrons are Christine Fox, Amanda Comet, Orcs Winchester, Gustavo Lira, Jack Holmes, Paint McCalla, Thomas Oberhart, Nick Boris, Yarrick, Natamori, Harriet DeCock, Corios, Commissar formerly known as Jen, Library Hitman, Beef Crime, Benno Rice, Jonathan Gerde, Callan Burney, Max Gamenhart, Jack Drummond, Kit Devine, Kentucky Fried Commie, Jay Martindale, Hell Blood Hands, Lysamesh, Jonathan Siegel, Tarp O, Big Titty Goth Girl, Mothman, George Rohag, Trip. So every time I say Mothman, I find it funny. Harrison Fuller, Trip, Charlie Out of the Closet, Alex, a trans robot. I don't quite understand this one. L plus A Rajan, warm in Florida. Sure, enjoy yourself. Zoe Shepherd, Turfs Eat Shit and Die Alone, Elizabeth Cox, Danny Porter, The Ultra Flat Typewriter Company, One Late, Finn Ross, Quinn Valeri, Alfredo, Big Ol' Boy, Rail Leal, Wolfie, Al Irwing, Lucy Keeley, Millie, Josh Simmons, Lauren Bastin, and Robert Greensmith. Thank you very much. Kill James Bond is Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer is the wonderful Nate Bethay. Our podcast art is by Matty Lubchansky, and our website is by Tom Allen. See ya.